Once you reach about the age of 50, maintaining your muscle becomes probably your highest priority. Okay, we know the benefits of maintaining muscle. Helps with glucose management, helps with metabolism, helps keep body fat off. There's direct correlations with muscle mass and longevity. Okay, now if you're younger than 40 or 50, I would arguably say that your goal should be putting on good, healthy muscle in a lean way, because that muscle is going to help you maintain, and it's harder to lose a lot of muscle than it is to lose a little muscle, right? So build it while you're young and you have the hormones to your advantage and things like that. But once you reach the age of 50, of course resistance training still matters. Stimulus is everything. But that all aside, believe it or not, it's endurance work that is going to help you maintain muscle. You see, the endurance work is actually going to lay the foundation for your mitochondria to remain functioning. And I'll explain what that means. After about the age of 25 to 30, we lose about 3 to 9% of our muscle mass per decade. So it escalates pretty quick. We start losing a lot of muscle after age 30. It just happens fairly fast. But there was a study that was published in Exercise and Science Sports Reviews that found that endurance work helps us retain our muscle. Now, it doesn't need to be crazy intense work. It needs to be moderate endurance work, where we're just going for longer periods of time. How is this working? Well, because what happens when we're doing endurance work is it triggers gene expression. That means it activates specific genes called PGC1A. What PGC1A does for someone, especially over 50, is it stimulates the mitochondria to create more mitochondria. So more mitochondrial density. It's called mitochondrial biogenesis. One of the main reasons we lose muscle mass as we age is because we get weaker and we don't stimulate the muscle as much. But you know how you can prevent the muscle from getting weaker? Preserve your mitochondria. So the precursor to a weak muscle is weak mitochondria. And that is something that is well within our control. So when we preserve our mitochondria by doing endurance work, because of that PGC1A and mitochondrial biogenesis, as we get older, our muscle cells and our mitochondria remain strong enough to produce ATP to continue to produce good, strong function. Weak mitochondria equals weak powerhouse, equals less ATP, equals lame workouts and lame output because you just are weak, right? Now, resistance training will always be your stimulus. That should always be done at least 2 times per week when you're over 50, at least 2 times per week. But your cardio work, your low-grade intensity endurance work for 30 or 40 minutes a few times per week is going to improve your VO2 max, which has a direct relationship with, of course, your longevity, but it's also going to stimulate that mitochondrial biogenesis. But then there was another study that was published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology. This study was interesting because they looked at older men and they put them on a 10-week endurance cycling regimen. They found after 10 weeks, no matter how old they were, they still got the VO2 max benefit, they still got the angiogenesis benefit, meaning they formed new blood vessels and things like that, but they had 0 muscle atrophy. Even if they took up endurance training, endurance cycling later in life, they didn't have any atrophy as long as protein needs were met. You see, you could even argue that a lot of times an endurance athlete that's training in an ultra marathon fashion, as long as they were continually getting enough protein in, they probably wouldn't atrophy. So as long as you are getting protein in, the endurance work is only going to help you. I put a link down below for the protein that I use as far as good quality beef is concerned. ButcherBox is grass-fed, grass-finished beef, which is delicious, like literally the best tasting beef I've ever had. So they've got ground beef, which is probably my simple favorite. They've got New Yorks, they've got fillets, they've got just about every cut you can imagine. They've got briskets, so whatever you're into, good quality grass-fed and grass-finished. And then their poultry is all humanely raised poultry, really good quality stuff, as well as sustainable seafood options. So that link is down below. It gets delivered right to your doorstep. If you're gonna get more protein into your diet, get it through good quality beef or good quality poultry or good quality fish. Don't just settle for protein shakes unless you absolutely have to. Live close to the earth. Eat that good quality animal meat if you can, because it's gonna help you in this case. Okay, so that link is down below for ButcherBox. So we have to dive deeper into this though. So there was another study that took a look at people that had done endurance work throughout most of their life. In this case, they were ranging in age from 40 to 88. Okay, so they took a look at them as a whole and they found that their peak power did not differ until they were at the age of 70. What that means, their peak torque, rather, they didn't start losing muscle strength until they were in their 70s. Why is this happening? Well, it's arguable that if they had been doing endurance work for a longer period of time, they were able to stave off that 3 to 9% decline that occurs every decade. Since arguably we start losing muscle at age 25 or 30, in this particular case with people that were doing more endurance work, they pushed that off until they were close to 70 before there was any difference. So let that be a testament to how you maintain muscle integrity, density, and quality, rather than just having mass to have mass's sake. Now, there is a theory behind why this is so beneficial, why this works so well, and why it could still be very beneficial for you, even if you just started training now. Those endurance runners were probably very well conditioned to using fat while they were training. Now, what I mean by that is, if you're an endurance athlete, your body gets very good at utilizing fat as a substrate, as a fuel, okay? So this means that you've developed the efficiency to use that fat. So that means if you go and you weight train, or you go without food, or you go and you run, or you go and you cycle, your body is going to use the fat before it uses your muscle, because you've developed an affinity for it. So it's easier for the body to use the fat. Why is that good? Because fat is calorically dense. That provides you with a much better fuel for your endurance work than having to start breaking down protein, right? If you are a super lean person and you don't have a lot of fat on your body, when you're doing endurance work, you may want to have a little bit of coconut oil, or maybe a little bit of ghee, or maybe a little bit of olive oil, some kind of fat that's easy to digest that your body can utilize, so you're still not having to tap into muscle tissue. The bottom line is, if you can train your body to use fats by doing endurance work as early in life as you can, or by occasionally training fasted or occasionally training in a ketogenic state, you might be able to get the benefits of cardio without the muscle wasting as well. I'll see you tomorrow.